What's up, YouTube? Welcome to ExceedTheHype.com. It's your boy Lucrecio coming at you with another video. Real quick before I start this video, I just want to talk about the situation going on in Houston, Texas right now with all the flooding as a result of Hurricane Harvey. If I will leave a link in the description box, if you don't know what's going on and you want to, get more information about it, you can click the link and read about it. And if you're interested in assisting in any way, all the information will be in the link. So yeah, check that out as well after the video. All right, so into the video. Today's video is about, once again, the Cavaliers and the Celtics and this trade that's still hanging out there. So at this point, the Cavaliers are saying that Isiah Thomas was a little bit worse off than they had previously thought. They thought when the Celtics the Celtics and Isiah chose not to do surgery, that he would be healed at least by like the All-Star break or whatever. Or at least, maybe a month or two into the season. The All-Star break is quite a while in. They thought he'd be healed and ready to go a little bit after the season started or whatever. But it turns out now the Cavs are saying that this needs surgery. So which means if it needs surgery, they're talking about doing surgery now, even though he's been, sitting for a couple months now. If that is the case, which I think this is a lie. I think Cleveland is just kind of saying something to try to get another asset, namely probably Marcus Smart or Jaylen Brown. They're not going to get Josh Tatum, so I know they're not even really thinking about Josh Tatum. Jaylen Brown, they probably think it's possible they can finagle him out, and if they were able to do that, that would be a huge deal. Marcus Smart is also another piece that they may be thinking about. Maybe they can squeeze out of the deal. I would imagine they want a piece more than they want another draft pick, even though they can use that draft pick to trade for another piece, so it kind of doesn't matter. Marcus Smart would be a good addition. He's a, good defender. He's about 6'3", and he can guard ones and twos. Once again, in a prospective Golden State matchup, he would be a very useful player for them in theory. Or a pick, another first round pick. I think Boston's first round pick which would be a late first rounder because Boston's going to have another good record. I think that's the worst case scenario for the Cavs. I think they're going to really try to get a player out of this. One of Boston's rotation players or whatever. If they can, I think they may settle for a pick to get the deal done. But let's talk about, what if Isiah Thomas is really, really, really hurt? Keep in mind, he had a hip injury that he's been sitting on for the last, they got eliminated, in May? So for the last, 2 months or whatever? 2 months, probably close to 3 months now. He's been sitting on an injury instead of rehabbing. Even though he's been rehabbing, but if he needs surgery now, that's a lot of wasted time. So I really can't imagine Cleveland going through with a deal like that if they don't get a significant pick. Even though they got that high pick in next year's draft, which is good. They got Jay Crowder, who's always wearing Cleveland gear, which I think is awesome. Who will be a nice fit next to LeBron or whatever as a 3-and-D guy, a legit 3-and-D guy who could do both very, very well. I really think it would be a good deal for Cleveland, but the problem is it's not enough return. If Isiah Thomas is going to require hip surgery now, which I would imagine is a incredibly difficult surgery to come back from, he may be gone for almost the whole season or a huge chunk of the season, and then once the season is over with, he's a free agent. So if that's the case, you end up trading. If you can't get a lot of utility from Isiah Thomas, you would have ended up trading him for Jay Crowder and that pick or whatever. You ended up trading Kyrie or whatever. And I'm pretty sure that's what Cleveland is trying to avoid. That's why they're trying to make sure they get something else out of it. If this deal were to be voided, I still feel like they got the better deal out of it, because what this deal did is bid the price for Kyrie Irving back up to where it's supposed to be. One thing I think is a big factor in Boston doing this deal and trying to force it through, basically no matter what, trying to come to some kind of deal with it, even if they have to give up something else, is because they traded Isiah. It will be so messy to try to put him back on that team. it would be so messy. There was talk about people in the locker room having issues with him. There was people burning his jerseys. It would be so difficult to put him back on the team. People talk about Kyrie Irving going back to the Cavs. If this deal doesn't go through, the Cavs will find another deal out there. I keep looking at Phoenix because Phoenix to me makes the most sense. Maybe Phoenix, after seeing what Boston gave up, next year's pick, who is a player who's probably going to be a player that could be better than Josh Jackson, they may come to their senses and be like, okay, well, maybe we'll give up Josh Jackson and Eric Bledsoe for him, considering what you were about to get, you know? So I think it bid the price for Kyrie Irving back up some. But be that as it may, I do think Boston will cave and give another player. I'm looking at Marcus Smart. It just depends on how much they are willing, how much they love Marcus Smart in their system. He is a point guard. At the very least, he's an undersized 2 guard, but he is a point guard. So having him on the Cavs will give would be another place filler or whatever. Because I still want Derrick Rose coming off the bench. I absolutely want that. He'd be a place filler until Isiah Thomas came back. So that's one thing. Also, Boston does have depth to replace him. So, and Kyrie Irving is going to eat up a whole lot of minutes on that team. So, it will be very interesting to see how this plays out. However, it's Tuesday now. They have one more day to get it together, and then this deal is voided automatically. So, they have one more day to figure out what pieces. I also thought of, okay, what if it was a situation where they didn't just add another asset, they reshuffled the assets? What if it was a situation where Cleveland got Jay Crowder, the high pick, the Brooklyn pick or whatever, Isiah Thomas, instead of no. Let me say that again. If Cleveland ended up getting Isiah Thomas, Jay Crowder, instead of that, the high pick, the Brooklyn pick, what if they got Jaylen Brown and then Boston's pick, which will be a late first rounder? That way, you shuffle around the picks and the values there, but you still, you shuffled in another player who could help them immediately, especially in their prospective Golden State matchup, and you still got a pick. I don't know if Cleveland would go for that. That seems like something Boston may be willing to do, but maybe not, because another thing to think about is Boston wasn't really willing to put Jaylen Brown in that deal to begin with, because Cleveland originally wasn't even chasing that Brooklyn pick. They probably didn't think they could get it, and they were chasing Jaylen Brown or Josh Tatum. They weren't going to get Tatum, of course, and the Celtics weren't going to give up Jaylen Brown either. But maybe the Celtics might want to rethink that. Maybe because they have Jaylen Brown and Josh Tatum essentially play the same position. So maybe they may be willing. And then once again, if this is a high pick next year, one of the players who are going to go like at a top 3 or whatever is another like player who plays their same position. So maybe they want to give up somebody to make this deal work because they want Kyrie Irving that bad. We'll see. All right. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments or whatever. And once again, if you're interested in the situation going on in Houston, Texas with Hurricane Harvey or whatever, check out the link in the description box. All right. See you next time.